It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. I was talking to a dealer the other day, and he said, Ray, I got to be honest with you, man. I think coming out of this pandemic, we're going to be right back where we were before the pandemic started. I said, man, that's fantastic. How much you got to grow to do that? And he said, what do you mean? No, I'm just saying when we get out of the pandemic, I'm going to be right back where we were before the pandemic. I said, yeah, but in order for you to do that, you got to grow. How much do you have to grow? Folks, here's the reality. We all know that when we get out of the pandemic, the service volumes are going to drop about 10%. The service print volumes are going to drop about 10%. The question we got to all ask ourselves is, how much is that 10% going to come away from our service revenue? We also know that in the imaging channel, 50% of their revenue comes out of service and 50% of their revenue comes out of hardware. If your service volumes drop 10%, how much does that affect your service revenues? And then, how much new hardware do you have to sell to make up for that 10% loss? And keep in mind, that new hardware that you sell has all got to be net new customers. Because if you sell it to the existing customer, they're already at the decline. It all has to be net new. So in order to come out of this pandemic, where you were before the pandemic, you have to have growth. And every dealer needs to start figuring out what that number is. And we can argue whether it's going to be a 10% decline, a 5% decline. But I got to be honest with you, my friends, if you're a $50 million dealer and your print volumes drop by 10%, how much does that affect? How much does that affect your $25 million service revenue? And then how much hardware do you got to sell to make up for that? Sometimes I think people think if everything just stays the same, I'll be okay. I'll get through this and the volumes will be, I'll be right back where I was. Being right back where you were post-pandemic means you have to grow. Just something to think about, my friends. I'm going to end this the way I always do. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.